Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. Welcome back to the farm. So, it is 8 a.m., I promise. Just clearly dark. So I'm going to go ahead and begin getting the field ready for oat production. So I'm going to try to go around and get the edges of the fields done. Get that set. So I did stop over at the shop, and we're actually in much better shape than I thought, assuming it all works. It may be too inexpensive of a solution, and I may choose to regret it, similar to the harvester I have now, but I think I'd be a little foolish not to try it. So we basically would be talking about 15,000, I think, or so, between both a trailer and a baler, instead of the 45,000 I was thinking that I might need to do it otherwise. So if I can save 30,000, certainly I'm willing to do a little bit of discomfort for that. But we'll take a look at that once we get closer. We'll just see what options we've got. But I'm hopeful that we'll be able to do some work. Now, per the rules that I have, again, we have to buy things, we can't lease them. I can get them from the used market. I honestly haven't been checking the used market a whole lot, because I know I've had to be finding mods that work for survival series, and then the likelihood of those coming up for sale is probably going to be pretty slim. So I may have missed something there and just not been aware. Let me get myself GPS'd here. Alright. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and pop these this way, and then we'll do the same thing I always do, which is head down to this little bump, take care of it. Alright, so it looks like that will do this. Are we going to get it all, or are we going to have a little bit left on the left side? No, it got it all. Cool. So, but yeah, it's pretty exciting to have discovered a possible mod that will work. So, but part of the things I guess I hadn't really put in the rules that I've had on the video, is if I can find a mod, I can't modify the mod in any way. Frankly, I don't know that I would know how. I just know other folks that have done survival challenges, they do explain that, so I'm going to be upfront and say I wouldn't be modifying it, but I guess I know the basics of, like, if I was changing simple things like pricing, which I think is what some people do when they refer to it, but if somehow I could, also affect function, I would not, because that I certainly don't know how to do. But with that information, the reason I bring that up specifically is I did look and found some things that had auto-loading trailers as part of the deal, or that I found baling trailers that were auto-loading, and as long as they're available, again, this isn't a realism challenge, it's a survival challenge. So I know some folks might kind of push back and be like, that's not fair, it makes it too easy, but just like the tree thing, the goal isn't to make my life miserable harvesting trees, it's to, require me to harvest trees to make money because there's no other way to make money at certain points. So similarly, I'm not going to be manually picking up bales with some sort of a bale fork or whatever, and then putting them on a trailer if I don't have to. I mean, again, if I find out, hey, this is the best solution and I want to do this, that's different. Then obviously I'll do it. But in all likelihood, I'm going to go ahead with an auto-loading trailer. So the inexpensive item that I talked about is one of those, and so that's why I wanted to mention it, because frankly it creates very small bales. So typically what I appear to see within Farming Simulator and kind of the baling technology that exists, that's out there, because most of the stuff we're looking at are square bales right now, because there just isn't anything inexpensive for non-square bales, which is okay, because on the hills, I mean, imagine doing round bales on these hills. I'd be chasing bales who knows where. So we will be doing square bales, aside from the fact that, yes, the terrain almost necessitates we do square bales. But typically the bale size is 120 centimeters. The bales that this thing puts out are 49 centimeters. So they're dinky bales. They didn't name it the Dinky Baler, but they probably should have. Oops. Thought I had put it down, but I must have picked it up and then put it down. Or pressed it twice is what I mean. I know what I mean. You understand. I thought I had the cultivator down, and I didn't, is basically what I mean here. And there's for the bale trailer, we'll do like 105 bales. So, and again, I don't know that this field would even generate that many, but it may. If for no other reason, then we're talking about dinky bales. So, so again, we'll take a look at that more when it's time to deal with it, which is going to be obviously at the tail end, after we've harvested and we've got swaths of straw sitting on the field here. So we're months and months away from that, because obviously I've got to cultivate, I've got to plant, and then I kind of have to let things grow. So I did notice from October to November, I didn't see any increase in my monies, so I still think that like strawberries go dormant, even though we're growing them in a greenhouse, so it makes it kind of a ridiculous prospect that it goes dormant. But again, the mod does what the mod does, and it works the way it works. And again, the greenhouses aren't mods, they're base game, but I think we were at 32,000 something when we ended the last episode. So, and obviously it's now November, so unless it happens at some other time of day, or maybe the fact we were late in the day, like we got some and I'm just not seeing it because we didn't go 24 hours, because I was seeing that more when I was waiting for the soybeans to go, and I would just basically sleep and just never leave the tent and just keep hitting the button. That's when I kind of noticed the 2,000 per day. So maybe what it is, and I guess we'll see in a second, because maybe when we hit 9 a.m., like maybe our dollars will change a little bit, because whatever strawberries have grown will have will be sold at that point. So it could be that because I think I was already at like 1935 or something, that we only had like that would have been 7 or something, so we only had like 12 hours I may not have noticed it, because I mean there are still expenses for maintenance, but I think that's like $112 with what I've got right now. So if I still got $1,000, I should have noticed something increase, but maybe we were at the low 32,000s, the $100 in maintenance, and then the $1,000 ended up being like 900, and we're still at 32,000. So maybe that's what happened. But as I said, we'll see. Because I also don't know that there's enough strawberries generated in an hour for a sale anyway. Yeah, okay, so it went to 33,030 where it was 32,980. So we did have a bit of motion. So I think it was just a smaller area. So that's good, because I was worried we suddenly, were losing income that I was hoping we were going to get. And that was just going to make everything even worse than I thought. Because the situation I was facing at that point, trying to figure out, I think I rounded the field or something. I remember at one point, or maybe it's just the way these are going, but I remember like we would hit a point and then I'd have to go do the others, and I'm not speaking clearly. I'll point out what I'm talking about later, because at this point I know what I mean in my head, and I know for certain I'm not explaining it in English enough words that this makes sense. So what I'm talking about is, I remember in the far end of the field, and I think I just again lifted my plow, is I would basically plow and then I'd have a little bit up at this top end, but I think the GPS locked on more appropriately, and so I don't have that little nodule, so I think things were tilted. The GPS track was not at the direction it is now, because if you look, like we're at I don't know, let's see when we go and lock in instead of guessing, but we're not at 90, 180, or 270 on the GPS track. We're at a different track. And so I think what that has created, aside from the fact that I clearly am like totally botched in how I do this, but you can see we're at 291, 292 instead of 270. So that rotation of 20 degrees is avoiding having a little tiny piece up here that I then have to deal with. And it's actually nice. I mean, it's actually great that it did line up this way. So I wasn't intentional with it per se, but I'm not going to complain about it, because it's actually quite good. I do like what it's doing, because I think this is actually going to be way more efficient than what was happening the other way. So, but this shouldn't be too long of a job, as you can see. I mean, we've made pretty quick work of this so far. You know, the difference certainly is that the tractor's powerful enough to drive the implement at the working speed that it's rated for, where clearly my own combine cannot do that with what we have, which is just not fun. I don't know what else to say. It's not fun. So, you know, but this is lining up in a way and moving in a way, because it's kind of the way my field is rotated, that it's aligned with that. And it could be because I think I frankly turned on the GPS as I was going down the side of the field, and so it created that line at that appropriate angle. But I'm pretty happy with the result here, so that's alright. And I should have, if I recall, I think I do have time usually to cultivate and sow the same day. Looks like we're going to get some rain, but none of that really impacts my ability to do these jobs. That's really just something I need to worry about with harvesting. But obviously the sooner I get things in, the sooner we will then be able to do whatever the next step will be around that. Whoops. Gotta reverse my direction first and then do things. But yeah, this is going to be too far along here. Boy. I don't understand why the reverse goes forward a bit. So that's what ends up causing those hiccups where I then suddenly take off. Because I thought I was in reverse. I see my thing moving forward. I hit the key and then I am going forward and then I just take off. And so it just doesn't work as nicely as I'd like it to work. But we'll have that little bit there. I'm hoping, I mean, it would be great if I got a high enough yield on the oats, because I'm hoping the yield on the oats is higher than the yield on the soybeans. And if they have an opportunity to being close to the same price, you know, 1,000 a liter, if I can get that on the oats, that would be great. Just as I said, I don't know that that will be how things play out, although it does take 6, 7, 8 months, I think, for the crop to fully go through its cycle, so it may be okay. Because then I'll be into summer again, and I think that's where that price is up there. But we'll see how it all plays out. I mean, I could try to leave things in the field a little longer, but I don't know. I don't know that I know the dynamics of the game of will it cause a withering if I do that. I was thinking I hadn't lifted it or I had lowered it again, and clearly, you know, it's doing my thing. Alright, so that gets us done this way. I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then, you know, we'll get into the seeding as soon as I can. Alright, so 10 a.m., a couple hours in, and we're cultivated. Way better than 10 hours to harvest the field, or the other some such nonsense that we had going on. Now, again, seeding probably is going to take a little bit longer, but it's alright. And at this point, I'm going to stick with the seeder that I have. Obviously, you know, again, I probably could upgrade. Am I really that far off? Or am I just on the wrong end? It's always hard to tell with these tighter pieces of equipment. Alright, so we are changing. So that's wheat, barley, oat. That is oat. And I guess I do just need to change my working width. Change the direction to head this way, and you can see way smaller. And then the other part we're going to have here is how fast this seeds. Because that's the other piece that's obviously going to come into play here, is do I have enough seed? Do I have to buy more seed? If I have to buy more seed, obviously I'll have to get it here, which is easy enough. I can throw some bags on the fork, you know, whatever it is, but you know, we know the soybeans take a little while to plant. Or give us a lot of ability to plant, I should say. They don't really take a while. They take the same amount, well, I'm just having a hard time saying what I'm thinking in my brain today. No, so what I mean is, obviously if I've got to fill it more, that's going to take time, so it will take longer to seed. What I was thinking was, well, it's GPS at this point. Like, once I'm effectively doing things, it's going to be the same number of passes, which is correct. But if I have to run off the field and go get more seed more often than I did with soybeans, then it will take a little bit longer. But I mean, again, it shouldn't be insane. So I'm just trying to create enough of a headland, I guess, you know, enough of a border here that when I go ahead and start running across, that I'm in good shape. Alright, so we're down to 3 liters. Can probably get a few of these rows done here. So let's see. If we come up here, yeah, actually this is something we should do, so we'll put ourselves down and that should work, because by the time it lines up we will be planting a bit, which is what I see there. And then do we go up 3 rows? Yeah, I think we go up 3 rows with the seeder. So this will definitely empty us out. And there we go. But we only had 29, so, I mean, don't feel like, oh my goodness, we only ran from the corner and over and out a few times, and oh my god. Oh wait. No, that's the fertilizer. Like, what am I? I'm like, I have stuff, but I don't. Do I have seeds, or is this all fertilizer? I don't remember. Oh, that one's seeds. That one's... Wait, they're both seeds, so why... Maybe I'm just... Oh, that's right, it doesn't actually give me an indicator. Yeesh. Alright. So yeah, I think I ended up using the fertilizer before and finishing up what I had, so I will have to buy more of that, I believe. Either that or I have it hidden away and I'm never gonna find it, which still means I have to buy more, but it's all good, right? It's all good. So I'm gonna try not to do things there. I'm just gonna, so let's see, 15. I want to be on 12. That tree's in the way, of course. So there we go. We'll plant there. But yeah, I'm thinking this is definitely faster than the soybeans, so we better get a lot of yield or we're going to be very disappointed in our output. Now I would hope with 1,600 liters of seed that I have enough, but I guess time will tell, right? But one would think at 50, I mean, that's 32 fill-ups of seed. But as you can see, we've basically done, this is our second full row, and we did a partial row, and we're going to definitely have consumed half of our seed already. So it's definitely much faster consumption. Alright, now I'm confused, because I wasn't at 8, but this is almost... Was I at 8? Maybe I was, I don't know. Didn't think I was, but it looks like the same spacing. So I think oh, you know what? I think I went one too far over on the other one. I don't know. Weird. I mean, I can see the rows, so it's not like it's impossible to tell. So I should be able to obviously still seed the field appropriately. But yeah, if I can get the, I mean, I will. There's not really an if involved here. It's almost easier to do, I guess, 4. I don't understand. I suppose it doesn't really matter. In the end, I just need the seed. We're going to run out here, that's for sure. So yeah, we only got 3 or 4 passes done, so we have got ourselves a lot more seed activity here. I think I still have the planter down because it's going pretty slow. But we'll fill up. I mean, at this point, I guess I can just do stuff wherever and just kind of pay attention to what's happening, because the seed won't seed when it shouldn't. I mean, that's the nice thing with seeds. They only go in the ground when they should be. So we'll just keep doing this. I'll get this field done. And, I'll pop in if something's happening that kind of needs to be mentioned. Otherwise, I'll just, maybe I'll get lucky and I'll get this done. So, I'll see you in a bit. Got the last row here. A little after 2 in the afternoon. Sun's already getting pretty low in the sky. As you can see, we got some pretty long shadows. We've honestly had some pretty long shadows the whole time. So I'm going to go ahead, I think, and leave the seeder over here along with the fertilizer spreader, because I need, this is where the seeds are anyway. So not really a reason not to do that, asides from that it's rolling along. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I likely will still fertilize today, but I'm going to call this episode done. Just kind of to separate things out, because I'm going to have 2 cycles of fertilization then that I'll just include, because I'll basically have today, and then I'll have December, and the crop will be fully ready to go. I'm calling it an early day, and I'll see you next time.